We just finished showing you how to shoot for your Instagram feed, and now in this lesson, we're going to show you how to shoot for your Instagram stories.
So Instagram stories are vertical and they're pretty narrow. And there's a couple of things that you want to keep in mind. If the client or maybe yourself are going to want to add text to the story, a lot of times people want to add something, maybe talking about the product or maybe it's a specific promotion that they're doing. So you want to just make sure to maybe leave a little bit of space for that if that's something that you're going to need. And then also just make sure to leave space at the very bottom, or if it's a swipe up, it'll have the little arrow at the bottom. So you don't want anything really important like a product to be down there where it's going to get covered up by that.
I hate when the camera acts up, you know? So right now, because we're doing Instagram stories, right? I want to make sure that I am getting everything in the shot. And I'll actually show you in a second the overlay that I'm going to put in our Capture One program to make sure that we are staying in line with the 9:16 format that we need for this image. So I'm going to put on the overlay in Capture One so that we make sure that we're in the Instagram story format. As you can see, we have the vertical line and the horizontal guide on there right now, but I'm going to go ahead and add in the Instagram story overlay, which I have already created beforehand. Okay, there we go. Sweet.
Kind of hard to see because it's on a red background right now, but when you get in close, you can see it. And we've put the background board vertical this time instead of horizontal like it was last time because we don't need the sides, even though it's showing the background in the shot. That's okay because we could either extend it, but we don't really need those sides anyway because it's just going to be cropped off right there. Putting on our gloves again just to make sure that everything stays clean and there's no fingerprints on our products or the props.
I don't want to be cleaning too much in Photoshop, if you know what I mean. And I also have a microfiber cloth because, you know, gotta touch up all the dust and smudges, anything. We want to keep the set as clean as possible so that I'm not retouching for hours.
Okay, so first we're gonna wipe down the set, get rid of all the dust and any little smudges that are there. And we have our shoot plan again. So this is a reminder to us of what we planned out and making sure that we're following our mock-up here. And this is great because we've already planned it out, so we can just drop everything in and we're good to go.
Sweet. I'm actually gonna be cleaning some of the props too because, you know, you never know.
So we're just using these blocks to kind of elevate one of the pieces that is in the back, that it's a little bit taller. Because two of the pieces that we have are the same size and we just want to give some variety and not have too many things that are at the same level. So we're going to stick this one in the very back. This is our fun textured piece.
So for anything that's clear, you definitely want to make sure these are clean because these are magnets for smudges and just oils, so clean them really well.
So now we're just placing all of the products into the scene and I'm able to see where I'm placing them on the monitor right here and just making sure that we have some space down here, like we mentioned, for the comment bar or the swipe up arrow, and then leaving some space at the top in case the client wants to add any text.
So pretty.
So for some of the products, they're going to be either laying down or one's going to be leaning over here. And so we're going to use a little bit of putty to make sure that they stay in place since they're round objects and they won't just lay still like we would want them to. And then trying to make it so that it's not showing so that when Arabella retouches it, she won't have to remove that putty, but also making sure that the product name is front and center.
Do you want to move it over a little bit to the right? Just like a tiny bit?
Yeah. Is it at the edge? So this is another thing we'd want to avoid where if the edge of the product is right at the edge of this prop, that's going to create a tangent. So we want to just make sure that the edges are not aligned, that there's some separation there. So you'll also notice that when we were talking in the beginning of the course about proportion, these props are a lot larger than the products themselves. But when the final shot is displayed, it's going to be on a screen. And so you're going to be able to see the products really well when it's in that format. If this was going to be like a really far back shot or like a big shot, you would probably want to shoot even closer, crop even closer so the products would be in focus. But they'll be totally displayed. And this is kind of a group shot showing all the different colors that the product can be purchased in. And there'll be some text, and really the text will probably end up being the focus of the image, and then the products will be around the scene. So also one thing we noticed when we were just looking was that the two red lip glosses are pretty close to each other. One of them is actually pink, but it kind of comes across as more red. And so then all the other colors are distributed. So we want to distribute the colors evenly throughout the scene. So I'm going to switch this one and this one. I don't want to put this one up here because it'll be against the orange and it might get lost. So I'm going to put this one over here. And then I'm going to put this orange one up here.
So now I just, looking through Capture One, I just want to make sure that all the products are rotated and forward, coming forward so that the label is clear because, at the end of the day, this is a product photo shoot. So just want to make sure that it's very clear and they're rotated perfectly. So I'm going to take a look. So now I'm going to fix the focus, and I usually like to do this in Capture One. So I'll zoom in very, very closely at some of the products, fix the focus, and we'll get started with lighting. So sometimes when, we're setting up the shot, I like to add guides in Capture One, additional guides, just to make sure that everything is even. So I just kind of laid the guide above one of the products or the prop, and I just want to make sure that everything's good, and it looks good right now. So I think we're ready for lighting. Just making sure that the light is pointed towards the products and that our light is pretty close up so that the shadows kind of stay more tight in and create a beautiful shadow all on each of the props. Okay, so we're ready for the strobe, and I'm going to turn it on, but it's going to make a little bit of noise, so hope that's okay. Okay, and we're ready to fire off. Ooh,
Looks good.
looking beautiful. But I'm looking at the image right now and I see that our shadows are really dark. So I'm going to bring in our white card, our trusty white card. Thank you, Ellie.
You're welcome.
And I think you're a little bit forward. So there you go. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's try that again. Very nice. I love that. Wow, and that looks really, really good. So now with the white card, essentially what it's doing is that it is reflecting light back into the scene, and it's brightening up all those shadows that are being caused by the hard light.
So when we took the shot, we noticed that there is a transparent lip gloss, which transparent and clear items are always hard to shoot, and we weren't sure how it was going to show up. So it's getting a little bit lost. There's a red object behind it, and the text on the transparent object is also red, so it's blending in. So what we're going to do is switch it with this purple one at the very bottom so that it'll stand out better and really pop. That looks good. So we just showed you how we shoot for an Instagram story, and in the next lesson, we're going to show you how we shoot for a website header.